Melbourne, Florida is increasingly becoming one of the more popular cities to live in Florida. And for good reason, folks. There are plenty of things to love about Melbourne, from outdoor activities, beautiful weather in the wintertime, to its thriving aerospace job market. However, before you make the move, there are some drawbacks to living in Melbourne that you should be aware of. In this video, I'll explain why you should think twice about moving to Melbourne unless you can handle these 10 facts. Welcome to the Living in Florida Space Coast channel. If you're new here, this channel is all about giving you an honest perspective on what it's like to live in the Space Coast. I'll cover everything from the ins and outs of the city to best places to eat, play, sleep, and everything in between. If you're thinking about or planning on moving to the area, reach out either via text, call, email, or schedule a call with the link below. Weekend, weekday, AM or PM, we got your back when it comes to moving to the Space Coast. All right, let's get started. The first thing you need to know is summers in Melbourne, Florida can be extremely hot and humid. Temperatures can reach anywhere from the mid 80s to high 90s, accompanied by high humidity levels. If you're not accustomed to the sweltering heat, outdoor activities during the daytime can be limited. It's essential to stay hydrated and to take precautions to beat the heat. I will say the rivers and ocean do bring a breeze, which helps with the heat. But luckily, most businesses and all houses in Florida have air conditioning. You want to make sure you get your HVAC cleaned and serviced every year, which helps prevent it from breaking down, because you don't want it breaking down in the hot summer months if you can avoid it. Number 2 on our list is the sporadic weather. Typically, in the summer months, there will be random thunderstorms and heavy rain. There comes a point in the summer where you can pretty much predict it'll happen in the afternoon, but even today, which is June 8th, it rained for about 15 minutes this morning, 15 minutes this afternoon, and it'll probably rain for a little this evening. So it can be a little sporadic. Number 3 on our list today is hurricanes. Melbourne does get hurricanes, and if you are not used to hurricanes, the thought of them can be really scary. Hurricane season runs from June all the way to November. Luckily, our area doesn't have a history of getting directly hit by hurricanes, and most of the time we are hit by a tropical storm by the time the storm hits our area. Tropical storms are a lot less damaging, but nonetheless could cause power outages and minor property damage. So it's important to be prepared and have an emergency plan if you need to evacuate. Pro tip is to stock up on everything you need for when a hurricane hits prior to hurricane season, because nothing is worse than stocking up right before a storm. Lots of things run out and there are long lines. Number 4 on our list is that Melbourne is not a walkable city. Having a car is essential in Melbourne. The city is not very walkable and public transportation options are limited. While there are some local bus services available, they do not provide coverage throughout the whole city. To get around, a car is a necessity. Number 5 is mosquitoes. Melbourne's climate, with its warm and humid conditions, can attract mosquitoes and other bugs. Mosquitoes are most prevalent in the summertime, but are around all year. You're going to want to have a lot of bug spray stocked up, because we have these little mosquitoes called no-see-ums and they bite like crazy. Number 6 is going to be allergies. Melbourne's lush flora, while beautiful, can be a nightmare for allergy sufferers like myself. The area does have high pollen counts, especially during the spring season. However, I will say when I lived in the Northeast, I would get allergy flare-ups spring and fall, but in Florida, I get them randomly throughout the year. Be ready to stock up on allergy meds if you're sensitive like me. Number 7 is that Florida is very flat. Florida is known for its flat terrain, and Melbourne is no exception. If you're someone who enjoys scenic views of hills and hiking mountains, you may find the landscape here very boring. Number 8 on our list today is that Melbourne is not a foodie paradise. Okay, don't get me wrong, Melbourne has some good dining spots, but it's not a foodie paradise. If you enjoy diverse, high end culinary experiences, you might find the city's food scene somewhat lacking. There is definitely some really good spots, mostly laid back. Anywhere you go in Melbourne is going to be super laid back. However, I will say Orlando is only an hour and 15 minutes away, and Orlando is definitely a foodie paradise. Number 9 is sun exposure. A big reason why people move here is to get away from the cold, gray winter months. The flip side to that is Melbourne has 230 days of sun per year, which means there is a high level of UV exposure. While the sunny weather can be enjoyable, it also increases the risk of sunburn and skin damage. So it is super important to wear sunscreen. And last but not least, number 10, home insurance in Florida in general can be relatively expensive compared to other states due to the area's exposure to severe weather. Factors such as the location of your home, its age, construction materials, and proximity to flood zones or coastal areas can impact insurance rates. Now, I will say, because Melbourne is inland and mostly not in a flood zone, I do typically see lower insurance rates on properties in Melbourne than, of course, other properties that are beachside. It's super important to shop around and to talk with local insurance agents who shop around for you. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients go under contract, they call up their insurance company and they use someone, in Michigan, Arizona, and they get an outrageous quote for for example, $6,000 a year, and they freak out. And then I tell them, no, let's go talk to a local insurance agent, and it's actually way less. For example, one that happened recently, it was only going to be $2,500 a year, which is a lot more reasonable for Florida. So that's all I have for y'all today. Even with all these cons, I absolutely love living here and have no regrets moving here. I'm Rachel Langley, real estate agent here in Melbourne, Florida, and we get so many people reaching out to us about their move to Melbourne, Florida. They text us, they call us, they send us an email. No matter how they contact us, we absolutely love helping people move to this awesome piece of paradise in Florida. You can do the exact same thing, guys. So you can send me a text, you can go ahead and give us a call, or better yet, you can skip all that and schedule a consultation with us with the link below. Either way, we would love to help you make your move to Melbourne, Florida a seamless process.